Hi there, this is Morgan Hickman with World's Strongest Reviews. Today we are going over Bone Tomahawk, released in 2015, directed by S. Craig Zahler. All right, and starring Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox, and Lily Simmons, as well as Richard Jenkins. And just funny little story to start this off. Apparently, Kurt Russell, after they were shooting, or after they finished shooting The Hateful Eight, which he was in, he starred in, and he had that glorious big, wider mustache. Apparently, a director or producer on this saw him with that mustache and was like, "Man, we've got a role that you would be perfect for, and if you could keep that mustache, we'll shoot this right now." And apparently he agreed, and so they just before he shaved his Hateful Eight mustache, they made this real quick, Bone Tomahawk. So here we go. To start off, I really love this movie. It was really a good surprise. Not advertised a lot, but that's kind of how the best movies sometimes are. You don't always hear about them because why sell a good movie? A western, and it starts off a little slow. I guess it's like really the only critique of the movie, or the only like negative kind of the movie, is the slow start. Starts off with a couple no good nicks. One of them played by Arnett, David Arquette, and the other Sid Haig. They're like they've just robbed some people, and it starts out. It like really gives you a good clue into like how the movie's gonna go because it starts out with like I think Dave or one of the two just like slitting a guy's throat in just a very gruesome way, just like oh that's how it opens up. So you're like oh, so immediately you're introduced with like how brutal this movie's gonna be because it gets pretty bad, and so they obviously like they steal something or they desecrate this site, and one of the guys escapes, and then it cuts to this quiet town. Patrick Wilson, this character, he's like broken his leg, and so it kind of shows how helpless he is or whatever. How sour he is over the whole thing. His wife, played by Lily Simmons, is caring for him, and their little relationship. You get this weird sex scene, which is like totally pointless between them. Kurt Russell's a sheriff, and then he one night at the bar, they see this strange guy hanging out at the bar. Turns out it's David Arquette. Earlier from the burial site scene. They arrest him. Next morning, he's gone, and along with a couple other people, including Arthur's wife, Samantha. Um, so he freaks out, and they basically get a posse together to track down whoever did this. And the local like Native American guy. It's kind of good they have this guy in there because they're all it becomes clear that some Native American savages did this, and the guy like clarifies that like the tribe that did it. I love it. He calls them troglodytes. They're just like he describes them as these Neanderthal esque beast men. This tribe from like way out in the wilderness, and so it's just really fun just to start out with. So like as soon as a plot starts like going, it does pick up well because suddenly you have this guy Arthur with his broken leg, who obviously says no, I'm going out with you. The sheriff, Richard Jenkins, who plays his like old kind of like maybe half retarded uh, deputy, and so like and them and Matthew Fox, his character named Bruder, who's obviously just he's kind of just he's like a gunman, just kind of like a shady guy. You don't really know what he's about. And Patrick Wilson or Arthur, with the broken leg. So they all head out to rescue Arthur's wife, um, and it just turns into kind of this classic story of like it of just rescue the person. That's all. From mystery danger, rescue person from mystery danger, and I love this kind of like almost fantastical Wild West thing they have going on. If anyone reads the comic Sixth Gun, it's not that fantasy, but it's still by the end, it's definitely it's like these things basically make this like howling sound. First of all, like they're like super Neanderthal Native Americans, and they make this almost like echo sonar weird like a call from these like weird gizzards they have. But so yeah, they go a long time, and you find about more about the guys. These four dudes out there. Matthew Fox. Yeah, he's a real man of the times. He's like killed Native Americans, women, children. He's a real bad guy. But they you get some great stuff with his I can't think of a. It's not binoculars. Telescope, I guess. Is it a telescope? Whoop. I don't know. Comment. uh, and you really realize like, oh yeah, no, this is like a rare scientific tool he has. Like I love it because he um Richard Jenkins' character, the kind of silly deputy, asks if he can use it, and I love because they call it the German. He's like, can I use the German? And he's like, well, will you go to Hamburg and Hamburg, Germany, and get another crafted for me if you drop it and break it? And it's like, oh yeah, I get like that's really like a very advanced thing that he has, and I love when period piece movies make sure to include those details in just how everyone and that's the thing like everyone like the speech is very good in the movie, like everyone sounds like they're from the time, the characters are make sense, they seem grounded in that era. It's because like while it's fantastical, it also tries to be very real about how people act towards each other, between races, between religions and everything, and they do a really good job of selling the period. And then it just gets more and more ramped up, especially as they enter this, the Valley of the Starving Man, which is like such a cool name for their destination, where these, this tribe lives. It's captured his wife, and they go in there, and it all, everything kind of blows up, and you just like you get Kurt Russell kind of gets captured. You just get to see these just absolutely gruesome scenes after he's captured. I won't totally spoil it, even though these are kind of spoilers. But like I won't go into detail about like exactly what happens. But just one thing that I have to say, because like it's so visceral, was like at one part he it's really great how like he gets him and Richard Jenkins are in this little cell together, and they slip morphine or whatever into a canteen, and they dose it up they really hard, because if you drink enough of it you'll die. And then they act like they're drinking, and the natives like come over and they grab it from them, and like they fake um uh jealousy or whatever, and like no, don't take it, and then they drink it, and like eventually they two of these three guys dies, and it's a really cool scene. But how um they're kind of trying to break out of captivity, and then so later they like after this has happened, they've like this canteen has poisoned them. They've like thrown in the after they're done drinking, they throw in the fire, and they come back into the cave, and they pull Russell or Kurt Russell out, and they beat him up. I don't know. They beat him up for a second or something, and then they like shove him down, and they take a knife, and they just like cut him open on the side, and they take the canteen from the fire and just stick it, just insert it into Kurt Russell. and it is so insane. Just like first of all, like it's burning, so like the pain of the character experience is unimaginable. But it's just like the imagery of just a canteen of like any just like object, just in the brutal simplicity of it, just inserted into a person, just like sticking out. It is so weird. So it ends. Yeah. So it's brutal, especially at the end. The climax is awesome. Um, Super fun movie. Good casts. It's just like it's just a really fun one and done movie. Again, it's if you're squeamish, maybe don't watch it. But if you're into any like Tarantino esque stuff, this is definitely a solid watch. So yeah, I give it B plus. B plus for Bone Tom.